Yeah.
Well, I have a story too about now, I remember him coming to the orphanage, and I don't know where we had gone, but I had got in the car with him, and the car was full. I don't know if it was you guys, Teresa, but I used to think he was so handsome. Oh my goodness. I thought he was not my hero, but he was like, oh my God, this is my brother. He's so handsome.
Now, was this the time that you were thinking he was handsome when he was in high school?
No, no,
Oh.
he was in the service.
He was in the military?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so he's out of high school, he was in
Yes.
the military? And,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh yes, I used to think he was so handsome. That went with it and everything. So I was dressed up there every summer.
I want to ask.
And paid.
I want to ask a couple of the younger siblings, Uncle Bob and Aunt Jeannine. Do you remember those? Not the first years, but do you remember times at the orphanage?
Well, I was just talking with Florence, and I don't remember the orphanage till I was maybe in the 3rd grade.
Okay.
Because
So
I
you were
remember
probably,
the team.
what, in the 3rd grade, 9 years old?
6 or
or
8, no. 8,
Yeah,
8, 9.
8, 9 years old?
Yeah, in the 3rd grade.
Yeah.
Now, I started when I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
6, 7, 8. Yeah.
6, 7, 8, yeah.
But anyway, no, I remember from the 3rd grade on.
Yep.
Yeah. I always liked the orphanage. You know,
You recall the nuns treating you
Oh,
fairly?
I couldn't ask for better.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my home. I was there 12 years. See, I was there the longest.
So you almost had a better home at the orphanage than seeing your father come up. You were too young to see that, but hearing from your brothers and sisters, maybe a little bit. I don't know how much the family talked about the father when you were at the orphanage.
The father came and seen us. We
Twice.
were there.
That I remember.
Yeah, twice. That's
Twice.
it.
Yeah.
And every time he came, he was stone drunk.
Oh, really?
I was so ashamed
Yeah.
of
He
being
was.
seen in the
You're
power
saying
with
yes,
him.
he was. Yeah.
Yeah, drunk all day.
Yeah. But, see, and it was better for me to be at the orphanage.
Yeah.
You know, they all moved on because they were older.
Right.
And the boys had to take off, you know.
Mhm.
But I was there 12 years.
Yeah.
And that was the best place. That was my home.
Yeah, well, you knew nothing else
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that.
How about you, Uncle Bob?
I remember going to Yvette's
Yeah.
mother-in-law,
Yeah.
That's what?
mother-in-law, Roland's mother.
Oh, you went there?
I went there for a very little while, yes,
Okay.
I went there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then I had gone to Mary Lou's
Yeah.
for a while. And then I went with the Seamarts.
Yeah.
And I went there maybe a year or two with the Seamarts on weekends.
Yeah.
And then one Friday night, the man was supposed to come and get me, and I just decided I'm not going there no more. So I went to the Superior, and I said, I don't want to go there no more.
Yeah, the orphanage was.
She said, okay, I'll
Yeah,
take care of
it
it.
was.
It felt good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
And
felt
she
secure
took
over
care of
there.
it, and I stayed at the orphanage after that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we felt secure in that place.
Yeah, it was home.
Yeah.
That's right. And it was home for the longest for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, Jeannine?
From Springdale, Maine.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
A relative, they were relative of ours.
Relative of ours came to the orphanage, I remember, and they wanted to take Jeannine and me, okay, on a farm
Yeah.
in Springdale. So the sisters just said, well, do you want to go? And we didn't know them, okay, and we looked at each other and we said, well, okay, we'll go for the weekend, okay, but we never regretted it so much, okay. We were supposed to be there for the whole week, but they wanted us there to work, okay, and they had a farm. And they had, was it sausage? What is it? Blood sausage?
Yeah,
Yeah.
blood
Yeah,
sausage.
blood
Yeah.
sausage, okay? And we had to, and I mean, not an hour, it was hours that we had to stuff all this in there. And one day when we were crying, we wanted to go back, we don't want to stay here, we don't want to stay here, and they had to take us back.
Yeah.
We didn't want to stay
Yeah.
there, and they wanted to adopt us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it
yeah.
was to
That's
work.
right,
It
I
wasn't-
thought about
Relatives
that.
of ours,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I remember that now.
I remember Jeannine crying too.
Oh, yes.
Remember Jeannine crying, when Val and I got married,
Oh,
Val
my
was in the service. And Teresa and Roland were in Virginia. That's where the Val and that's where Roland were stationed. Val and I had come home and taken Jeannine, of course, out of the orphanage, and taken her with us to Virginia to spend the summer with us.
Yeah.
And of course, Teresa was working, I was working, Val and Roland were in the service. They had to spend their day in the service. Jeannine was all alone. She was about, what,
I was 10 years old.
10 years old. And she was left alone in that apartment.
Where you were in Virginia.
Yeah. And this couple here owned a camp.
Your landlord.
The landlord.
Downstairs.
Yeah. And, go ahead.
Yeah, so they leave me alone. They go to work and they leave me alone. And I'll go to one thing first.
Yeah.
And they used to have a colored man that used to deliver ice. Well, I didn't like that. And so they used to put the chart of how much ice you wanted in the window. And the man would see that and bring the ice. Well, I didn't want that man coming in the house when I was all
You were
alone, so I
uncomfortable,
used
yeah.
to take the chart out of the window.
You took it out of the
I took it out of the window. So he didn't see no thing, so he'd go right by. Well, Val, which was your father,
Yeah.
he'd come home and he'd say, how come he didn't leave no ice to me? Well, I just try to, I'm afraid of him. He'd have to get on his bike and go get the ice.
So he had a bicycle.
He had a bicycle, yes. And he'd go get the ice. Now, the other time that your mother was talking about was their landlady in Virginia, they wanted to take me to their camp. Now, I didn't know these people. I'm 10 years old. So they buy my ticket and we're at the train station and I'm crying my eyes out. I did not want to go. And who comes to my rescue but your father? I can see him now coming down. Now, oh, Val, I'm so glad to see you. I don't want to go with them. He said, Jeannine, you come with me. So Val was my hero. But, yeah, and then, of course, now it would rain like heck in Virginia. It didn't rain too many times, but when it did, it poured buckets. And I used to play with a little girl next door. The windows all open. My job was to shut the windows if it rained. Well, I never went and shut the windows. They'd come home, the floor all soaking wet.
Did Teresa get after you?
Oh,
boy?
yes.
Oh, my goodness, Teresa and Roland, yeah. I mean, it was
But that was
terrible.
my experience in
It was
Virginia.
terrible, yeah. And then we had, Val and I had taken a few days off and had taken her back
Yeah.
to the orphanage, and the conductor on the train, he says to Val and me, "Is that your daughter?" She was 10 years old. Val and I had just gotten married.
Right.
Yeah. So, but.
The best for the last.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got out of the orphanage. I was 14 and a half after I graduated from the 8th grade, and I went and lived with Teresa. And I stayed with her, and I babysat for the first summer. And then I wanted to go to high school. I wanted to go to the Holy Rosary. So I asked Teresa, can I go to high school? She said, no, I can't afford to put you through high school. Well, not realizing today that they had Spalding High School, and I could have gone there. But I never realized it. Because she had gone, Florence had gone to Holy Rosary, and I used to go with you in the summer.
Sure.
So that's all I knew was Holy Rosary. So when she said, no, you can't go, I said, all right. So I went to work. I worked at a store. And then I got on a bus one day and I found out that Summerfoot Shoe was paying more money, 50 cents more, because I was getting 50 cents an hour at the store in Finelands. And so I got on the bus and I went to Summerfoot, and the boss said, yeah, you can get 60 cents an hour. All right, you know. So I went there, and my life was very simple. Then I met my husband, Sonny.
Your future husband, yeah?
Yeah, and I have 6 wonderful kids with him. And I divorced him. Then I married Robert Alea, and I was with him for 13 years, and he passed away. And then I met my companion now, John Clements, and he's the best one yet. He is the best one. We should have met 50 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate compliment.
And we both feel that way.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, we're so compatible, it's just unbelievable.
And you
it
say
is.
that with a smile on your face.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's the truth.
Yeah. Because, you know, at
Yeah.
some point in time, all your children are gonna be watching this CD at some point.
Oh, well, they know it.
They know that.
They know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's my life today. It's very short, short and sweet.
And,
Oh, yes, and I have 6 wonderful, yes, and I have, 10 grandchildren.
and grandchildren.
And I have 8 great-grandchildren. And I'm not done yet.
They still come back.
They're still coming.
Your family is still growing. and
Oh,
expanding,
yes,
you know.
very big family.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we get together on Christmas, there's about 40 of us now.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Wow. And that's actually become a family tradition for you.
Oh,
like, getting
yes,
together
yeah.
on Christmas.
On Christmas,
Yeah.
yeah, we hire a hall
Yep.
because nobody's house is big enough.